Welcome to Criminal Gines, a comedic true crime watch-along podcast where we watch Criminal Minds, yes, all 15 seasons, and discuss the true crime that can be linked, however indirectly, to the episode. We're your hosts, Stacy Johnson and Veronica Shea, and this week we're joined by Kristen Green, and we're discussing Season 1, Episode 2, Compulsion. Okay, so we're going to do a quick recap of this episode. I know it's Kristen's favorite episode. She's watched it 20 times.
Really set me up for success here.
She really definitely watched it in preparation for this moment.
I know what I'm doing. I am a professional.
Okay.
Yep.
So this one, the team is out to a college campus tracking down a serial arsonist. A lot of arsonist facts that they're men. Of course, it turns out that it's a lady. Really do foreshadow that a lot in the episode. And she doesn't have the same MO and need to set fires as an arsonist. She has severe OCD and she has a compulsion, religious compulsion to do it when there's sets of threes. They are, of course, able to find it before she does a lot of major damage, only three victims. And yeah, so that's, and again, so we have the footpath killer is again, we see in this episode, continuation from last episode. And yeah, that's where we're at. We get a new character, JJ. We're introduced to JJ, their liaison. And so she deals a lot with the press and bureaucratic nonsense or whatever. So we are expanding the team. Elle is increasingly annoying. Really do not like her character. Poor choices.
No, we do not.
I know she's Kristen's favorite character.
I hate this already.
For our listeners, Kristen did not understand the assignment and did not watch the episode.
No, I truly don't listen to me. Don't listen to anything I say. I have nothing to contribute at this point. I'll do my best.
But we do talk about the footpath killer in the episode. It's actually based off of a true case that John Douglas did, where he said that once they find the unsub, he will talk with a severe stutter. Did pull that in. Path killer and Gideon taken hostage by the killer, we see, and that he got out of it by telling him that he knows why he stutters and that no one could tell him that before. And so the guy wants to know why he stutters. And then the whole episode, instead of worrying about the arsonist at hand and the potential victims, Elle is obsessed with finding out, how does Gideon know why someone stutters? Why does someone stutter? So she's easily distracted from her job. I don't know why she was allowed at the BAU, because the last episode, she was just in the field office. Now she's with the team. We're stuck with her. To our first ever segment that Kristen will be leading. Kristen, why don't you give the people some background about actually why they should listen to you, at least for your segments. They're called peer reviewed. So we're going to peer review Kristen's segments. Kristen, give us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to sell this too much, but essentially I have a scientific background. I'm what's called a behavior analyst. I know this segment is basically looking at different in a scientific way. So I look at the literature a little bit, and this week I looked at stuttering. So I am by no means a speech pathologist. This is not my area of expertise. I did a little Google Scholar. Here I am.
Great.
She did undersell herself a little bit. She is technically a board certified behavioral analyst.
Which is perfect since we are working in the world of the behavioral analysis unit. Okay, Kristen, Stacy and I are ready. We're going to put on this what you're going to try to pass through peer review about stuttering.
So really today, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what stuttering is, different types of stuttering, actually the main theories right now of why stuttering occurs. There's also some cool little facts and tidbits I picked up about stuttering, but that's kind of the gist of it. I didn't dive too deep into a lot of these things, so see how it goes.
Okay, what is stuttering? Right.
Yeah,
peer review us. Sell me on stuttering.
Sell you on it. I mean, you know it exists. I don't know what I have to sell you about, but I'll start with the definition of stuttering. So stuttering is basically the frequent interruption of the flow or the fluency of speech. So this comes in a few different forms. It comes in the forms of pauses or repetitions, which I think is what we're most familiar with seeing, the repetitions of words or sounds. It can also come in the form of prolongations of words or sounds. And also stuttering can often be accompanied with other behaviors. So like rapid eye blinking or facial tics, head jerks, making a fist, stuff like that. So there's other behaviors that can go along with the stuttering.
That sounds very Tourette's-y.
I mean, a little bit, maybe saying like etiology, but like who knows?
Oh, that is a big word.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Etiology?
Yeah, that's like the origin of something.
You're so smart.
Oh, it gotta be something.
Well, it's not prepared. I'm going to tell you that.
Neither prepared nor on time. So does the definition make sense? Basically, it's just an interruption of the flow or the fluency of speech.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I have that. Like my brain works faster than my mouth can keep up.
Totally.
So it'll be like, and like it'll like glitch, and then my mouth will be like, well, wait, but, and like, or I'll double say a word to like reset.
Yeah, that's a good point that you said that, because another important factor about the definition of stuttering is that the person knows what they want to say. They're just not able to say it. Because if they don't know what they're going to say, it's a different diagnosis, right? It's not stuttering. So they know what they're trying to say. They're trying to say it. They're just not able to say it.
Okay. So why do people stutter?
Okay, here we go. So they don't really know. But I got to tell you, this will lead us into the different types of stuttering. So there's 3 types. There's what's called psychogenic, neurogenic, and then there's developmental. So psychogenic and neurogenic, they are the types of stuttering that you can really point to an event that was correlated to the onset of the stuttering. So you have psychogenic, and psychogenic means that the stuttering is correlated to a severe mental trauma or a psychological or mental illness. So then there's neurogenic, and neurogenic is correlated to a physical trauma that correlated with the onset of stuttering. So the trauma has to be located in the central nervous system. So this is something like head trauma or stroke or ALS, stuff like that. So psychogenic and neurogenic, there is a event, something that's really causative that you can say, here's the reason that this person is stuttering, essentially. Those 2 are not as common. The most common type of stuttering is what's called developmental. So developmental is exactly what it sounds like. It occurs in children as they are developing their language skills. And it's actually really common. It said over like 75% of kids will stutter when they start developing their language skills. But most of it resolves itself. So they're asking the question, why does it resolve in some children and not resolve in others? Why does stuttering continue on to adulthood, right? And there's like current theories right now about why that is. Should I get into those theories?
Yeah, let's go. Give us your hypothesis and then the theory.
From the research, from what I've read, there are genetic mutations that they found that are correlated with those who stutter. There's like 4 different mutations that they can point to. They have done brain imaging studies, and they have shown that those who stutter, their speech and motor control portion of their brain is different than their non-stuttering peers. It has to do with blood flow. And then the other factors are obviously environmental. So it's not just physiological, it's not just genetic, it's not within the brain, it's not within the genes, it's also that there are environmental factors. So if you have a high stress environment, that can worsen stuttering. If your family stutters, you can have a stutter. There's like different environmental risk factors, and there's different variables within the environment that can contribute to the stuttering not resolving itself as a child and continuing on to adulthood. So essentially stuttering, it's not this black and white thing. If it's not neurogenic or pathogenic, it's mostly developmental, and it's a confluence of variables that make someone continue to stutter onto and into adulthood. So in the episode, when, what's his name?
Gideon?
Yeah, when Gideon said, I know why you stutter.
He's lying.
And he was lying in the episode. He was trying to stress him out to make the stutter worse to buy himself time.
Okay, so scientifically, that's true. In one study, those who have higher stress environments or react poorly to stress, it worsens their stutter.
Okay, so Stacy, what do you think? Does this pass your peer review, or are you going to fail it? This is it.
I have more tidbits. Are we already at the grading stage? I got more to say.
Okay.
She's way more prepared than she leads on to.
Well, we'll come on to that, won't we?
Okay, you want some interesting tidbits?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
males are 4 more times likely to stutter than women. They don't know why. They assume it's genetic factors.
Because they tell women to stop talking, so women don't speak as much. What do you mean we don't know why?
We just don't have as much of a baseline. There's just not as much behavior to measure.
Just stopped talking at age 5.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So males 4 times more likely. I thought that was crazy.
1% of the world population stutters, adult population stutters, which is
A lot. I mean, how many people? Billions? There's 8 billion people. 1%
8
of that. Like,
billion.
What's 1% of 8 billion?
8 million, 80 million.
Is that true? That's fast math if that's true.
It's either 8 million or 80 million.
I was a theater kid. I don't do math.
You don't do a lot of things, Stacy. I mean,
That's correct. You want to know a secret of something that I did do that I haven't told either of you?
Oh,
Yes.
shit. Yeah.
Are you ready? I think I've told you, but I haven't told you on podcast.
we're about to be podcast a fish.
oh my God.
I did stutter, and I did have a lisp, and I did have to go to speech. Oh, Jesus.
There it is. There it is.
Oh,
Speech
no, I'm
therapy?
stressed.
Yes. She's stressed.
My lisp is more present than my stutter, but
I can see
don't-
both of those things.
being true. I
Yeah.
don't stutter as much, or I don't stutter only when I'm like really stressed out and I can't, like, I'm trying to figure out the word that I want to say, but
How does your stutter present itself? Is it the prolongations or the repeats or the pauses?
it's the pauses.
So you just stop?
I just like,
No, you are prolongator.
I do that a lot.
Really? Usually when you're trying to find the words around us, it's you'll repeat and then prolongate. And then go.
Like, banana.
No, not like banana.
Like that?
You're like if you were to be like, fuck, why would you use banana? I can't use banana in a subject.
No.
Like if
It's
you're trying
my
to say,
safe
let's go
word.
to the grocery store. You'd be like, let's go to the grocery store.
Wait a minute. So when you
Haven't
can't
you heard
think-
Stacy do that?
yes, if you can't think of words, is that your stutter?
Yeah.
You dumb bitch. You never told me that.
I would just like to say that very ableist of you. She's not dumb. As you said, she knows the word. She just can't get there.
Just can't see it. Does anyone in your family stutter?
Huh.
Okay.
Maybe.
But she did have that incident where she fell out of the window when she was like 3.
So maybe this is neurogenic. There's an event.
Oh, shoot. My whole life is changing. My stutter is not as present as like my lisp. Oh, Jesus Christ.
There we go.
I'm
Did we
thinking
hear
about
her?
it too much.
She's stop thinking about it. She's stressing out. She's.
I don't want to talk about me anymore.
Well, do you know what other risk factors there are besides the stress, besides the relatives who stutter?
What?
Developmental delays.
Oh, no. How did this turn into an episode about Stacy?
Well, we have someone who experiences it.
Makes it better. It's better than the last episode when you're like, "What's your safe word?" And then both of you were like, "I don't have one," and made me come up with one.
When? You and Amanda?
Yeah.
You don't have a safe word.
No.
All right. What was your safe word?
We decided it would be
Limoncello.
limoncello.
Mine was in Korea, it was pineapple.
Oh.
And then in America, it was Rossetti.
Your first one was blueberry.
Probably.
Rossetti. What's Rossetti?
Rossetti? What is
This
Rossetti?
is a story.
Okay, we'll get into that. Wait, keep going. We gotta benchmark Rossetti. I'm gonna edit this. There's gonna be a different order. Okay, so
Yeah. So back to the little tidbits.
Stacy's dumb because she stutters. That's what Kristen said.
Developmental delays. So just exactly what I'm saying. I will not say that about the rest of the stuttering community. Only Stacy Johnson, just to be clear.
Perfect.
So, man, some other things when I looked into the literature, I really have more empathy for stutterers because there's a lot of studies basically on how non-stuttering individuals view stuttering individuals, and it's messed up, man. Non-stuttering individuals view stuttering individuals as having less intelligence, as having worse personality traits, as not being as social. Yeah. It's not great. And also adults who stutter, they have higher rates of anxiety particularly social anxiety disorders. There's a lot of avoidance you can imagine that comes with stuttering. They want to avoid social situations or speaking. I mean, that totally makes sense. Also, there was a study done on quality of life, and stutterers rated themselves as having a lower quality of life as opposed to non-stutterers. So in general, there's just all these measures that were kind of negative if you had a stutter. So yeah, I kind of felt for them after reading all these things.
It's a good thing you got yours fixed, Stace.
Mm-hmm.
That, or at least we think you did. I mean, maybe didn't.
I only find that it presents itself when I'm in a state of high anxiety or stress. Yeah, usually I can really, like, with the work that I did as a kid, I can really be conscious of what I'm saying.
Did you guys ever see The King's Speech?
Yes, so good.
Stacy, you didn't see The King's Speech? The entire thing
so
is about King Edward, is what I want to say.
Sounds right.
The Queen's dad, so the last king before Charles, and he had a very bad stutter, and his brother abdicated. He had to become king, and he had to make speeches. But he had a really bad stutter, and it's about him learning how to cope with it and basically not obviously get over it because he was much older, but manage it.
Was he a criminal? I'm trying to round it back to...
No, he was a king. So, I mean, it depends on who you ask. The colonizing portion, you know, that's criminal if you ask certain people.
True.
Yeah.
I can't get into the politics of the UK right now. You know, we just don't have that kind of time. Anyway, you should watch that movie. It's very, very good.
It's very good.
Okay. Is that,
right.
Kristen, are you ready for peer review, or is that?
It is. Let me just wrap it up again. Stuttering is complicated. There's many variables that contribute to stuttering. There are many difficulties that those with stutters have to go through. On top of that, I was looking into the treatment, and there's not a lot of great treatment options for those who stutter. There's been a bunch of medications on the market. None of them have been FDA approved. None of them were found to be particularly effective. There are behavioral therapies, which can be effective. I'm trying not to be biased here, but the research in general was showing that treatment isn't ideal, and it's not quite where we need it to be for those who have stutters. So yeah, just to wrap that up.
Okay. Stacy, pass or fail? What are you feeling? Vibes alone, pass or fail?
On vibes alone, I'm feeling pass.
Okay. Why?
Because I feel like she bamboozled us. She said she wasn't fully prepared, and then she busts out this like length of like knowledge, and I'm like, this seems right. So pass.
Okay. I am also going to pass, but not because you bamboozled us, only because it was almost a fail. And I'll get into that. Only because it aligns with how Criminal Minds used it.
Yeah.
So that nobody knows.
Looked at the research.
So that saved you, Kristen, because quite frankly, I am shocked that you came in with this like emotional heartstring tug. And where I understand that we should have empathy for people, I don't think that has any bearing and should not have any bearing on a scientific study. I think you were trying to skew your results with anecdotal sadness. And I think you should look inward on that as you continue your career in science.
That is probably one of the worst things you could ever say to me. It will keep me up at night. I will be looking at the way that I interact with every individual at my work from this point forward.
Well, I'm glad I could make a difference in the medical community.
Feeling great.
Scientific community. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's a pass!
It's a pass. It's a pass
Your
for us.
first one was a pass.
Hell yeah. Okay, so what can I do to improve next time on my peer reviews?
God, so many
Wear
things.
a funny little hat.
Okay, hat. Check.
Don't love that. Don't love that. They actually don't have to be this long. That's a lot of research you did. You got into it.
And I thought I barely did any research, so good to know.
Well, we're coming up to the next section, aren't we? This case was about arsonists. Do we want to talk about our arsonist?
Yes.
Kristen, what's his name?
Paul Kenneth Keller.
Are you reading Wikipedia right now?
No, I'm just looking at you guys.
Yes, Paul Keller is one of the most prolific arsonists in the United States. That they also mention him in this episode. There are a few arsonist episodes, so if anyone is like, this should have been this other person, he's coming. But this one, we want to talk straight out of the gate about the most prolific one. Also because, okay, he set over 70 fires, right? Killing only 3 people.
Clarification, he was convicted of 107 fires,
Whoa.
but he only admitted to 76 of them. And I find it interesting that he's also serving 107 years.
Not a coincidence.
And that's so interesting because usually serial killers will claim more victims than they're prosecuted for.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's a big thing. Like, so the BAU is trying to say that, like, at least Criminal Minds, that they do more than just serial killers. They do arsonists. We'll see bank robbers. We'll see bombings. We'll see kidnappings, right? They do kind of a variety of things. So in this one, it's arsonists. They, do the thing of like, oh, they're mostly male and blah, blah, blah. And then Gideon very wisely is like, if you're just looking for the ordinary, you won't see the extraordinary or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, okay, it's a lady. Like, we get it. They keep saying, think outside the box. Okay, we get it. It's a fucking woman. And it is. But I think what's interesting, because she's not prolific, she's, borderline schizophrenic is really the behavior, but they're putting in with like severe OCD, which we actually do see a lot with schizophrenic individuals, is that she's doing it for a religious reason. Keller was very religious.
Lutheran.
Yeah, very, very Lutheran, which isn't like one of the fun ones. There's like no pageantry. There's no big food. It's like very depressing. Mm. Like if you have to pick a Jesus, that's probably wouldn't be the Jesus I picked,
Fair enough.
It doesn't seem fun. And then he killed 3 people. She would kill in like threes. Whenever there was a repetition of threes is what caused her compulsion to kill.
Like when she saw 3 things, or like...
No, it was like, it's the 3rd day of the week, this person's 3rd class at 3 p.m. So it could have been anything. It was just making, it was a trinity of threes, just making sense to her, which is where you get the more schizophrenic, I think, than OCD brain. And then she would be compelled to light something on fire. And it wasn't an aim of killing. They do not have the same...
Mental illness?
No, they don't have the same psychological markers as serial killers, right? So they're profiled differently. Whereas if someone was using fire as the weapon to kill, they're a serial killer. When fire is the aim, they're the serial arsonist, and they're profiled differently.
I was about to ask that, what the motivation is. Is it just to cause as much fire destruction as possible? Because it's not murder.
Yeah, it's just to light things on fire. It's like fire is their sexual release. So they usually stick around to watch it.
Is it always sexual?
They didn't do that in this case because, again, she was not a traditional arsonist. Hers was murder was her goal. But it's either sexually driven or financially driven with arsonists.
Oh, insurance money.
Yes.
Sexually driven.
If you're like a true arsonist, you're like into fire.
You want to fuck fire.
It like makes you hard, or wet.
Right.
Think outside the box.
Think outside the box. Yeah.
God.
Ladies can light fires too. All right.
And on that topic, I actually have in my notes, it says Stacy lit the house on fire once.
Oh no, I thought I was going to squeeze by that.
Wow, this is really Stacy's episode.
This is Stacy's episode.
Stace.
We know why you stutter. We know why you light fires, bitch.
Oh no. I feel like everyone's learning so much about me.
Yeah, you want to tell us a little story store?
I was little. I found...
Set the stage. Paint me a picture.
I was little. I just got out of the bath. I was still in my little kid's bathrobe. I had found a box of matches in my parents' room. My mom left. So I started playing with said matches, and I lit one, and I got scared, and I threw it, and it caught the curtains on fire. And my mom came back in the room and started putting the fire out. Eventually she got it out, and she still called the 911. But Stacy got locked in the car until the police got there because she couldn't trust me.
So I have a lot of,
Oh my God.
A lot of things are like dinging with this one.
Okay.
Why were you left unsupervised as a child?
That's what I'm saying. It's her fault.
2, I know adults who struggle to light matches.
Mm-hmm.
Truth.
How'd you do that?
It was one of those boxes, where you
Okay,
just...
one of the easier. Okay.
Yeah. One of the easier
3,
ones.
I thought we weren't allowed to lock children in cars.
Yeah, children, normal children, apparently children who can't be trusted, get locked in cars until police get there.
Do they talk to you? The police?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly, but I remember getting pulled out of the car and like hiding behind my mom's leg, and like the firefighter was talking to me, but I did get a sticker afterwards.
Oh, you didn't get scared straight?
No.
No, she was rewarded for her deviant behavior.
Hey, I got you, Stacy.
That's where it all started. That's why I am who I am.
Okay,
God.
but were you excited when you lit the match?
No, I was scared.
Okay.
That's why I threw it.
Okay. You didn't feel like a murderous intent? It's either sexual or to kill somebody. This is what I'm learning, so pick one.
Or financial.
Or financial.
Or money, okay.
Maybe I realized as a young child that we needed money. And so I was like, I'm going to light the house on fire so that we get money from the insurance company. I was like 4.
Okay, so this was, okay, so now that brings us to the, I forgot the name of it, the something triad, where you you wet the bed, you abuse animals, you light fires. Were you a bedwetter, Stacy?
No, I was not. That I remember.
I was stressed for a second.
Because I've seen how you treat muffins.
Oh, I love her.
So I just have one question.
Uh-huh.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Did you kill your mom?
No, she died. Normally. Well, not normally. I don't know. What is normal?
I don't know. I think we have some questions.
There have been a few mysterious deaths surrounding Stacy Johnson. She is the common variable here.
Yeah, so y'all better be nice to me.
Okay, well, if Kristen or I go missing,
Yeah.
look at Stacy
Johnson.
first. Oh my gosh. Okay, but so this guy also claimed that he was molested by a volunteer firefighter when he was young.
We're talking about Paul now, right?
Paul, not Stacy.
Correct.
Shit.
Which I just think is very, I want to believe victims, but I don't think that leads to arson. We usually see abuse leads to further abuse. And you see a lot of that in serial killer histories, that they were abused. You see that with domestic violence. People who beat their kids, they used to be abused. But I don't know that we see that necessarily with arsonists.
It's an interesting jump. Someone molested me who puts out fires, so I like fire, or I don't like fire and I want to burn everything. I don't know if you equate it to something else, like if a chef molested someone and they're like, I'm gonna eat food.
And now they can't stop eating.
Yeah, or food fights all the time. I don't know. Like you said, I totally believe victims, but it's just an interesting
jump.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Wondering if that's not the sole factor. Like, that is the factor that gave him the idea, because a lot of, like, there were a few of his burns that were done at Lutheran churches. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if, like, religious trauma also fed into that, sure. And just, like, that gave him the idea.
Well, I think a lot of kids play with fire, especially boys, I think, go through that period where they're like fascinated with fire. You know, they'll set off like tiny little cherry bombs, or they set off like whatever, but that they don't obviously progress. I think he just liked fire. I think he just liked playing with fire.
I mean, 107 fires in 10 years.
That's a lot of fires.
Fire.
That's 10 a year, a little more. That's like almost one a month. That's a lot.
It's a lot of fires.
That's a lot of fires.
That was some more quick math, too.
Okay, wait. Now we have to go back to the story. What's Rosetto?
Rosetto?
I don't know.
It's Rossetti. Can we put some respect?
What's Rossetti?
My safe word. Okay, this is a deep cut. Only a few people are going to know this, I think.
Do you guys know Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, there was this character, and his name was Rossetti. He was the one, he was trying to come in and take over, essentially. And Nucky was like, nah, fuck off, dude. But anyway, there's this scene with Rossetti and a lady, and she's choking him with a belt. And he's like, do it harder. Essentially.
Oh.
She's like, harder? And he's like, fucking do it harder. And I was like, ooh, Rossetti.
So all you had to say was Bobby Cannavale.
That man is fine as fuck.
Yeah, he's fucking hot as hell.
Yeah. Do you remember that scene?
Yes, vaguely. Is he
Oh.
with a prostitute? He's like in a brothel?
I don't know if it's a prostitute or if it's someone at like this inn, but yeah, it's a lady and she's choking him with a belt. It was good.
So I don't usually have like visceral responses. Like I have a friend, Megan, who whenever she watches TV, she's so into it that like everything is this like insane response. I've had a like physical response twice and only twice to something I've watched. And one was the end of season 2 with Rossetti. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kristen?
The end.
The end of season 2 when he's peeing on the beach.
Yep.
And I started having, I don't want to say anything because people haven't seen it and they're going to go watch it. I started having like a full panic attack. Like I was like, oh my God. Like the anticipation of like, you know, what's about to happen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a really
It was
good show.
I know.
What's it called again?
Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, I will watch it.
We'll just YouTube that scene later. I'll show it to
Alright.
you. It's a good ass scene.
That's so funny. Yeah, your first one that you told me was Blueberry.
That might have been my very first one. And then it morphed into Rossetti, and then it was pineapple, and I haven't really needed one since. Let's pick a new one. What can I have?
You can't have limoncello. That's taken.
That's right. You guys already did this. I don't want to do this again.
Do a croissant.
No.
Croissant.
Croissant.
You have to say it like that.
Croissant.
Croissant.
Oh my God.
I'll stick with fruit, maybe.
Mango.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's not bad.
I like mango.
Okay, I have a question. What's the most overrated fruit?
Mango.
Agreed.
Or papaya.
Papaya. That
Actually.
shit tastes gross.
Mm-hmm.
Because even papaya
Papayas.
flavored like juices, not great.
Not good.
I also think
Banana. I lied. Banana. I have like I can rant about bananas. I fucking hate them. What a
you
goddamn.
hate bananas.
Yeah, first of all, rarely are they good. They don't taste good. Banana
Okay.
flavoring, awful. The only good thing that comes out of bananas, banana bread, banana cake, banana baked goods.
Smoothies.
No, because
What?
you use banana as a base because it doesn't taste like anything. The best you could hope for from an actual banana is that it doesn't taste bad. That it doesn't taste like anything. Like that's it. And then everyone is like, put a banana in the smoothie. Bananas are so good for you, that potassium. Do you know how much fucking sugar they have in them and how many other nutrients? None. It's a fucking sugar dick is what you're putting in your mouth. I fucking hate bananas. They have such good PR, people. It's like milk. It's like, how did bananas get this campaign of being like the best fruit? Fuck off, banana. You suck.
Do you know, speaking of milk and bananas, in Korea, banana milk is very popular.
I love banana
Do
milk.
you know why banana milk is very popular?
Oh no, why?
It was the, like you said, good PR, Veronica.
Yeah.
It was the milk people, and they wanted people to drink more milk. And I don't know if bananas are popular or what, but they combined the two, and here we are, banana milk. So you're not wrong.
This is what I'm saying. Meanwhile, raspberries, blackberries, possibly the best of the fruits. Well,
Okay,
pineapple.
those are also inconsistent.
Pineapple.
Pomegranates are terrible. They're, I think, the worst.
I love pomegranate.
I like pomegranate
but-
seeds in like salads and stuff.
Yeah, but have you tried to like get them out
No,
of
I'm not a peasant. I
pomegranate?
just buy the seeds.
You buy the like $20 cup of pomegranate seeds?
No, I live in LA. I buy the $40 cup of pomegranate seeds.
Inflation.
Like,
Anyways, back to fire.
I don't think arsonists are that interesting, but I also don't think the average serial, like, I want my killers to be sexually motivated. I want them to have some weird fucking thing like BTK. I want them very high functioning, high IQ. You know, I want like the cream of the crop, the best of the best, if you will.
Basically, you want to be like, yeah, I could get murdered by that person. That's what you want?
Yes. I think if you're going to do something, you should aspire to be the best at it. You should try your hardest. Like, my favorite is Dahmer, and I'm actually really mad about the Ryan Murphy show that came out because he was strangely vague. Like, a lot of people didn't know who Dahmer was, and now Dahmer, everyone's like, oh my God, I love Dahmer. I'm like, you didn't know who the fuck this guy was.
Before the show.
Yeah, before the show. And I'm like, let's get out of here.
Okay, so no bandwagoners when it comes to serial killers?
No bandwagoners. This must be how McHenry feels about Bundy, because she's so into Bundy. And everyone, when they're like, oh my God, I love true crime, Bundy. And you're like, yeah, name another one. And they're like, Ted Bundy. You're like, okay.
He's the guy.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Well, it's because we, in like mainstream media, completely sexualized him.
Well, he's sexy.
He's definitely an attractive person, for sure.
Kristen's like, is he?
Kristen's not touching any of this shit, so.
He is a type. Hottest serial killer, though, I don't think would be Bundy.
I think we talked about, or we hit on manipulation, right? So if they know they're attractive, or that some people find them attractive, they'll sink into those shortcomings and utilize that to their advantage.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bundy didn't have any problem. While they were telling women to be careful, to watch out, to not go home with strangers, he was able to talk them into his vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
He had no problem, but that's also because with the media and stuff, we've been kind of like brainwashed into thinking that monsters are ugly. You'll be able to pick them out of a crowd.
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we were going to be serial killers,
Okay.
which one of us could convince people to get into our car then?
It would be me.
Okay, we think each of us could do it.
I think each of us could do it.
I absolutely agree.
I also agree.
But in our very different stylized ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy, they would trust you immediately. They'd be like, hell yeah, I'll follow this girl anywhere. Me, they want to fuck me. V, what would your thing be?
I could convince any guy to get naked for Franz to photograph. So whatever that is.
Okay. Creative purposes.
People trust that I know what I'm doing, and
Okay, we'll say like professional or like selfish motivations. You can like tap into that, like from your victims.
I think Stacy is just so
Nice.
unassuming.
Nice.
No, bitch, I know you. I don't think you're
Nice.
nice.
Aren't you nice? That's all
Nice.
now, Stacey.
That's funny.
You just said you were going to light us on fire unless we were nice to you. I don't. It's
Did
not,
I say that?
No, she said she would kill us.
I would kill you.
Don't light me
Is
on
that
fire.
better?
Give me a nicer way.
Maybe. It's up to
Fire
you guys.
would be-
I mean, you're the ones dying.
I don't think that's the. I don't think it's like, oh, you're going to die. How do you want to die? I think it's more, I'm going to kill you. Let me tell you how I'm going to kill you. I don't think the victim gets the choice. It'd be nice, though.
Oh, like a spinny wheel? Like spin the wheel, see what happens?
Or just like, how do you want to die? Okay, I'll do that then.
That is a nice way to kill somebody, I suppose. I'd ask for carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Which one is it?
Monoxide.
I'd ask for carbon monoxide.
No, you'd ask for helium. We
I want helium.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because carbon dioxide, you feel like you do fight back. Your body fights back, not with helium.
Hmm.
And carbon dioxide, you turn black, not with helium. If you're going to asphyxiate, you want helium. I would want to freeze to death.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah. You get,
What happens if you take your clothes off, though?
Well, you
'Cause
just
know
get,
that happens.
yeah, because you get so hot.
Right.
So you
Do
get
you wanna be found
warm.
naked and frozen?
You know, I'm working out a lot right now. I'm working on
Yeah,
that.
great.
I'm trying to get, some people are looking for their summer bods, and I'm looking for my hypothermic bod.
Perfect. So when you're found frozen in the snow, you want to be good to go.
Yeah. Well, and what's great is nothing will be wobbly or jiggly when you're frozen.
That's literally frozen. I'm like, what a hard body.
Hey, babe, whatever you got to do in these trying times.
I have a joke for you.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Why can you not give Elsa a balloon?
Who?
Say why.
Oh, why? I don't know who Elsa is. Why?
Because she'd let it go. Let it go.
Moving on.
I want to bring it back to this one point that we made like ages ago about arsonists. And most arsonists are
Boring.
men.
Men.
Well, on that list, there was a list that you sent us about like the world 10 famous arsonists.
Yeah.
One of them is a woman, but what I found interesting about like her case, her name's Terry Barton. She was a U.S. Forest Service worker, and whilst at work, she went out and burned a love letter from like a spurned lover that she had, which in turn ended up accidentally burning 138,000 acres in like outside of Denver.
Whoopsies.
And it destroyed more than 100 homes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Was that her only fire, though?
That was her only fire.
Come on.
How could she?
She can't be on the list of arsonists.
I was about to say that. How is that arson then? That wasn't an intentionally set.
Well, she intentionally set fire to the letter, which in turn caused this massive fire.
I need to know how. Did she walk away from it? Or was she there while it was burning? Is this like a
don't know,
bonfire
but
sit?
Investigators found the remnants of some burned matches in the letter that was mailed to her, who she in turn later called in the fire and then admitted to starting it.
When it got away from her. So what I'm hearing is she went out into the woods, burned a fire, dropped it, was like, okay, great, got away from her. But go to a campsite and put it in a fire pit. Where's your bucket of sand?
And the fact that they found the letter still or pieces of it enough to know you didn't even burn the thing you were trying to burn.
You just
if you're gonna do something right.
Yeah, she didn't even like I said, burn the thing she was trying to burn. That's not an arsonist. That's an idiot.
I get why it's arson, because technically, but to be on the list of the 10 greatest arsonists,
Right.
no, you're not. Like you said, you're a famous arsonist. You're an idiot.
Yeah, they literally caught you because you couldn't burn the thing you were trying to burn.
She is not doing a lot for women in the workplace. If she's on that list,
I know.
That kind of sets women arsonists back.
Ooh, dang. She was sentenced to only 6 years in federal prison.
Yeah.
And she has to reimburse the federal government $14.6 million.
How? Kill yourself. How? How are you going to do
you're
that?
never going to pay that back.
No, I wonder how low the payments are. She's just like $70 a month. So
Till she's literally dead.
Yeah, damn. And that guy who wrote a letter doesn't give a fuck about her. Oh, I hate this whole thing.
Maybe he does now. Maybe he's like, oh, she's committed.
No, she's not, because she couldn't even burn the letter. Back to the original point. She can't even follow through.
She's not good. Not good at all.
This is upsetting to me.
Mm-mm. I know that we're going to hit on him on a later episode, but I guess I didn't know a ton about the Son of Sam to recognize that he was also on that list.
He set a lot of fires. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's one of those triad guys where they're like, oh, he did all of these things. I mean, that has since been largely debunked as an indicator. But he set thousands, definitely hundreds of fires, small fires. Okay. Not like our guy Keller with buildings and shit, but trash can fires, that kind of stuff all around New York, rubbish fires.
So for murder or for sex?
Sex. But he also had the people are talking to me thing, which actually, we are going to talk about Son of Sam later, but there's a really cool documentary where they don't think it's one guy anymore, or a lot of people don't think it's one guy.
Working in tandem? Or?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Berkowitz is definitely an interesting case, but yes, he set a lot of fires before he started killing, I believe. I don't think it was, because usually you see an escalation in those kinds of things.
You know what song I have stuck in my head right now? Let us set fire to the rain.
That's a good one for this episode.
What I think is great is that Stacy's actually a very good singer, and yet this is what we're getting from her.
She could be, but her shyness really holds her back.
Oh, I'm going to punch you. My dad is so annoying. But in a good way, because I love him, in case he listens to this episode.
Her dad and her stepmom were talking about the same thing. They were talking about how she's a good singer, but basically she holds herself back, and if she wasn't so shy or whatever.
Shy?
I know! I did the same thing, so that's why I make fun of her now. Stacy's like, I just don't like to do it because they asked me to do it.
All the freaking time.
That's so funny. Out of the three of us, Stacy's the least shy, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Who's the most shy?
Veronica.
I think I'm the most shy, but you're the most introverted. Mm-hmm. So you're not outgoing, but I don't think you're shy to meet new people, to speak, and I am.
Correct. I think Kristen is the least shy. I think Stacy is middle, and I think Veronica is the most shy.
Which no one ever believes when they meet me. They're like, you're so outgoing. You're such a people person. And I'm like, I don't want people
it's all
to
fake.
ever speak to me.
You've got your mask on.
My brother's a firefighter.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
That's cool.
And what we do see with actually arsonists is a lot of them are, not a lot of them, but some of them are firefighters. You see this with...
John Orr. He was a firefighter.
You're reading a list, and we're going to talk about John Orr in a later date. But you see it with, oh my God, what is they called? Angels of Death, where they're and their thrill is to then respond, like they make their patient sick
Yes.
and then they save them. And it's
Save
this almost
them.
savior complex. So
Yes.
they're called to then put out the fire, and it's like a hero thing.
Yeah.
So you do see that a little bit of crossover. It's not like every firefighter is, I mean, not even close to that, but you will see that crossover sometimes.
Has your brother ever talked about any like arson stories?
Not really. The big fires that he goes out on are like the big wildland fires, like the ones that we saw up in Montana. He was out there for like a month. Or not Montana. Was it Montana? Or Seattle? Or I mean Washington. It was Washington recently.
We're doing great.
The whole West Coast was on fire last year. So let's be honest.
It's true.
Not to talk about prison stuff all the time, but like they just made it illegal. So a lot of prisons on the West Coast institute job work programs, and they have a lot of wildland fire like protection programs for prisoners to participate in. And they just passed recently like a bill into law saying that if they participate in one of these programs within a facility, then they do have the right and the ability and the capability to get hired on as like a firefighter and participate in like training and things like that, because beforehand it was illegal. You couldn't get a job as a firefighter if you had a felony.
Yep. So the skills they were teaching them were basically useless.
And they don't get paid a livable wage for these programs.
Yeah, but now they can go out there and potentially get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to say a thing.
I'm ready.
Are we sure a job where you go into people's homes or are maybe responsible for their unconscious bodies is what we want violent offenders to be defaulting to?
They're not all violent.
But are some of
Correct.
them violent? Like, is there like a rapists don't get to be firefighters? Because I feel that might be my thing.
Won't they have to register?
They would, and they in turn wouldn't be able to.
I would
Okay.
assume.
What about murderers? Serial murderers?
Well,
can they?
At that point, like, when are they getting out? You know,
Well,
like, based on
so
their sentence.
just read a book, and apparently a lot. Kemper got out and killed most of his victims while on probation. Arthur Shawcross got
No.
out and killed most of his while on probation. Yeah, they're actually
I
let
didn't
out
know this.
quite a lot.
Is this before they get into the swing of their murders?
I think Kemper had 2 victims under his belt and then Kemper killed his family and then was let out. And Shawcross had 2 under his belt, 2 children, and then was let out and killed a bunch of women.
Jesus Christ.
You know, so I 100% believe in rehabilitation. I don't like how like we're just locking people up, throwing away the key. I don't believe serial killers can be rehabilitated, and I don't believe rapists can be rehabilitated. And those would be the 2 where I'm like, maybe not first responders.
Right. And if you look at historical recidivism rates and things like that, I don't know that necessarily they would be in a space
Eligible for. Okay, great.
out and long enough. So
Then love that. Because, yeah, I think you're right, Kristen. Like, once you're out and you have these charges, like, you have to claim that on any application, and then you're not going to get hired. So what you can get hired for doesn't pay a livable wage. Why wouldn't you turn to crime or, you know, any means to say, like, to be able to live? There's a great company. I think they started down here, but I know that they're, like, kind of all over now, called Homeboy. Have you guys heard of this? Where they...
yes.
It was started by ex-cons, and they hire ex-cons, and they make chips and salsa is where it started. It was like Homeboys Chips and Salsa, and they do inner city outreach to the youth to try to keep them out of the prison system and stuff. And they do like amazing work in the communities, but also have like great food and products and stuff.
That's really cool.
It's also dependent on the company too, on who hires and what they're hiring and what they'll accept as like an acceptable offense and things like that.
Yeah, which will all come down to liability.
Mm-hmm. So, anyhoozle.
Can we agree that maybe arsonists are the most boring of...
Yes, I think they are. I think they're the most boring.
I'm bored. I don't want to talk about fire anymore.
I want a Dahmer. I
Mostly.
want a Kemper. I want someone who... I mean, Kemper is really fucked. He decapitated his mom. It was like the last one. He like decapitated his mom and like fucked her neck hole or something. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is that's what you want with your serial killers. You want someone dedicated.
Jesus. Not someone who's passively lighting fires and walking away.
Correct. I would also like to
Maybe
say...
have a boner or 2.
I'd also like to say that while the things I say are crazy and insane, I stand behind them. And to some degree, so do the two people next to me.
I am not affiliated in any way with any of the statements that this person makes.
That one,
I barely know her.
That one specifically.
Barely know her.
That one specifically, as she has been my best friend for 32 years.
I'm doing the best I can, people. I'm trying to rein her in, but it's just there's nothing I can do at this point. I'm so sorry.
The other one has been friends with me for 14 years.
Oh, dang. It's been that long?
Yeah, I think 14. Wait, let me do some quick math.
Kristen, we need quick math.
No, 14
I thought
years.
you met her when we were 19. How old were you?
I didn't meet Stacy when I was 19.
How old were you?
Oh, did I meet Stacy when I was 19?
I'm pretty sure. I thought we were under 21.
Oh, because
when
I
we
was
met
doing
Stacey.
burlesque. You're
Oh,
right.
Yeah, we did meet each
I
other.
thought
when we were
I thought I met her
19.
when I was 21 or something. Yeah. Okay, well, we're
15
telling
years.
people how old we are now. Yeah, so I've known Stacy for 15 years. So what I'm saying is
No, Queen. 17.
17 years. So what I'm saying is don't trust our math.
No, we were 19. You were not 19.
How old was I?
Old. You're old.
Older than us.
How old am I?
Your birthday is
kidding,
soon,
I'm kidding.
bitch.
No, we were 19.
I like Kristen is like, excuse me, no, I am not in the same bracket as you.
My math is correct.
Kristen always calls me out, though. I don't like it anymore. Just let me lie.
But what I'm saying is, if people at home are like, oh God, this girl, these two have stuck around. So I'm just
Yeah.
the one who'll say it.
We're still here.
We're still Where else are you going to go? So limited options here.
I already know both of y'all. Yeah.
Was that? Oh, that was the end of the thought. Okay.
That was the end of the episode.
Fucking can be arsonist, man. Oh, yes.